Perfect. Alrighty. Hey, everyone. Good day. Good afternoon. Thank you for taking the time to join us today. It is 3:03 p.m. on October the 18th. And today with us, we have Chris Beckford and Neville, both co-CEO and President of Infrastructure and Operations, respectively, at Steam Exchange. I will play the role of facilitator today. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Viraf, and I am the VP of Operations at Steam Exchange. Today, in front of you, we do have a concise, but yet at the same time robust AMA lined up. Let's move into our agenda. The first major bucket that we will be talking about today is our token economy, the mining rewards, and more. We know quite a few of you have been looking forward to this topic. Moving forward, we will have the beta progress and pipeline. And thirdly, we will touch upon our Waterloo partnership, what that means and what's coming in store for us there. We will also be passing around the virtual mic today between slides, so please bear with us. Alrighty, so just for everyone who's new in the room, and just a refresher for those of you who haven't seen this in a while, what is Steam Exchange? Essentially, we are a Canadian fintech startup with a focus on learning, innovation, and scalable digital asset solutions that can be applied across the cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, and Web3 integrations. As it currently stands, we will be featuring an upcoming hybrid digital trading ecosystem. And this ecosystem is going to include essentially one, our Rails network proprietary blockchain, the swap and quick swap, a launchpad innovation lab, as well as our NFT gateway. We also at Steam Exchange have a huge focus and ethos that revolves around learning and education. And this is evident from our two university partnerships that we have, one namely with the University of Waterloo, the Stratford School of Interaction Design and Business, as well as Sheridan College. I think we can move into the token economy slide, and I'm just going to pass the virtual mic over to Neville for this one.
Perfect. Thanks, Viraf. So like Viraf mentioned, this has been a hot topic, I would say. We went through token economy once before in the past with our initial thoughts on, what, things like the inflation rate would look like. But with that said, we did revisit this topic, I would say, and we came up with a couple of methods or strategies to mitigate the inflation rate and to keep it as low as possible. So I'm just going to quickly go through. We've already seen a lot of this in data, but some of it's new, and I also want to explain the new parts of it that help us with mitigating the inflation rate. So initial supply, we're going to keep it around the same. It's going to be about 165 million tokens. Our target inflation rate for the year or annually is 5%, or approximately 5%. To help mitigate that, we're going to have a quarterly burn schedule. And the way the burns are going to work is it's going to be a percentage of the burn wallet that we currently have. Every quarter, we're going to burn a percentage of it, but it's not going to be a set amount every quarter. It's going to be a rolling amount. So, for example, if there's 10 tokens in the burn wallet and we're burning 2 tokens for quarter one, so 2%, the next, or 20% rather, sorry, the next quarter is not going to be 20 or 2 tokens. It's going to be less, right? Because it's going to be a percentage of the amount remaining in the burn wallet. After we accounted for the approximate burns in our evaluation, we actually landed on a really good net inflation rate of about just 2%. So before we were looking at something ridiculous like 100%. Now we're looking at something close to 2%. But to accomplish that, we had to revamp the way we reward overall. So the miners, you'll see that the mining rewards are set to 4.5% of the target inflation. So the way that's going to work is every block that's mined, the reward that's provided will go 4.5%, or majority to the miner, and then very little to the pool operator. And then you can calculate that by looking at the approximate blocks per hour at being at 720. The rewards set there are what we're going to start with, but we'll evaluate as we go. But the important part is the pool operator. So the pool operator is getting very little percentage of the reward itself. But to help that, we're introducing something that people have asked for. We're not typically ready to have on-chain staking, but we did want to offer some kind of incentive for the pool operators and also the node operators without inflating the amount of tokens per year. So what we did was, if you are a pool operator, your profile is something like, you're looking to, manage the pool, the miners, you're looking to secure the blockchain, and you want to do so by, number one, you're going to contribute to the chain or to the token economy by locking your tokens. For example, tier one, there's no bonus rewards for the pool operator, and this is going to be the base requirement to become a pool operator is a tier one locking schedule. So for 1 year, for example, if your agreement with Steam Exchange to become a pool operator is for 1 year, you're gonna lock up anywhere between 500,000 and up to 1 million of your native coin, and that you'll get the base reward. So it's very, very passive income for you as a pool operator. Maybe you have a very good job and you just want to help support the token economy and the security of the chain. So you're going to lock up just to become a pool operator, and you'll get the base reward. Tier 2 and tier 3 respectively is where you start getting those bonus rewards, and it helps you generate more passive income. Not as much as the miners, whose profile is to be doing the majority of the work, and we'll get into their profile in a second. But you can get up to 25% in bonus rewards from your base by locking up 2.5 million or more tokens. So the profile of the miner is rather more extensive, right? So they've invested in their rigs. They spent all their time and energy setting up their rigs. They're the ones that are going to be online 24/7 for the most part. If you're an avid miner, then that's what you're going to be doing. You're going to be online for most of the day, or at least at the minimum at your off-peak energy hours, right? So maybe 12 hours a day, 14 hours a day, depending on where you are. So because you're doing majority of the work, or all the work really, you deserve most of the reward. The pool operator we talked about, you may have a job already, which you're working, and you're just looking for something to either pad your salary, or you're just looking to help us and secure the chain. So that's your profile. And then we get into node operator, which is not on this. It was previously, but this version of the deck doesn't have it. But the node operator, same thing, right? So the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, but you're not rewarded in token. You're actually paid a salary. So for example, tier 1, it's your infrastructure costs. So say, for example, you've invested in a cloud server. That server runs you about $400, $500, $1,000 a month, whatever it is. We'll compensate you for your infrastructure plus give you a 25% return. For tier 2 and tier 3 respectively, it's 50% for tier 2. So infrastructure costs plus a 50% of the infrastructure costs paid out as a salary. And then tier 3 is 100%. So basically you spent $1,000 on your infrastructure, so you're going to receive $1,000 in return. So the reason we did this is that previously both the node operators and the pool operators were receiving rewards, and it became completely inflated in the sense that it was very difficult to keep the inflation rate low, even with an aggressive burn schedule. So what we did here is that we're allowing now for the inflation rate for the investors, people who are holding the token, who are not mining, who are not pool operators, who are not node operators, to enjoy their native coin, to trade in our ecosystem, to continue investing without having to worry about a 100% inflation rate of their token. So now we're looking at about a 2% a year, and we're rewarding appropriately, I would say. I think it's respectful the way we've split up the rewards based on the profiles, right? So we looked at, again, the miners being the most invested. They have their rigs, they have their tokens. They're here to generate more income. They're using energy. Then we have the pool operators who's managing the pool. So they should be rewarded in tokens, but their investment is small in actually operating the pool. And then we have the node operator whose investment is a little bit larger. They're securing infrastructure, so they should be compensated for that infrastructure. So just looking at the amount of reward, right? So we're looking at just 1.18 native coin for the miner per block and 0.13 native coin for the pool operator per block. So in the beginning, it's going to be small, right? The reward's not going to be valuable, I would say, but it's not about the value at the start. When you look at the forecast in the chart on the right, on the bottom, you'll see that at launch price, it's not going to be lucrative in the sense that we're just starting up. We're starting to open our doors to projects. We're growing. We're in the growing stage. It's almost like we're starting our journey all over again. And I think I've mentioned that a couple of times in the chat. And then you have the 10x price. So when we 10x from launch, you can see now, okay, we're starting to make some money, right? The miners are making a little bit of money. The pool operators are making a little bit of money. And then we get into a 100x situation, and you can see the growth over time. And that's where you're going to likely start cashing out your rewards. So in any mining situation, there's an accumulation phase. So you're going to mine. And then one day you're going to do something with those coins, whether it's invest in other projects on the chain, or you're going to cash it out. So that's kind of what we did with token economy. And I hope people are happy with the way it turned out. We did in the past want to venture into a proof of work, proof of stake hybrid blockchain consensus mechanism. We weren't able to accomplish that in its true fashion. So we're happy to at least offer some form of reward for locking your tokens in a staking environment. And in the future, we're going to continue optimizing our chain. And we hope to one day accomplish that goal of having that hybrid proof of work, proof of stake consensus mechanism. So with that, I'm going to pass it off to Chris to start talking to you about beta.
Thanks, Neville, and great breakdown there. Definitely a lot of information there. So thank you, everyone. I appreciate you guys as always. Those who have been with us, I mean, whether you just joined us or been with us for well over the course of the year, we truly appreciate all the continued support. The last couple of months have been pretty eventful, to say the least, with all the moving pieces. A lot of things are coming to light with regards to our development and the things we're putting out there. From a beta perspective. So, looking at the beta forecasting per se, and where we are right now, where we're going to be in, the next coming weeks, always a lot on the go, right? Over the last couple of months, I'd say, what you guys have been able to see is the release of our beta platforms in terms of the wallet UI, which is depicted on the top right. You guys have caught the glimpses of our swap and quick swap, and advanced trading platform, which is on the bottom right as well too, right? From a functionality perspective, the native coin claim, where we got our users to hook up to our testnet to receive and claim their native coin, the testnet native coin, as well as the developer faucet as well too, right? As I said, there are a lot of moving pieces, and this is at the point where we start to bring these pieces together. Our eyes are still very much set on the end of the year for our decentralized portion of our platform, and getting the decks out there and getting everyone leveraging and trading on our platform. Some of the things that you might not see, and actually, you know what? No, we've definitely shared some information here with regards to the number of fixes, and you guys might have seen tons of fixes on the go, right? We're always, and it might not always be that something is broken, but something that could be done better. And our fixes, and I won't go into all of them because there's a long list. You see 74, but across the login page, the wallet pages, our swap fixes we've had, history, even down to our KYC. And then on top of that, like we said, not required, but useful fixes where we're adding things to make it more user friendly and overall bolster that end user experience, right? Now, in terms of what's directly on our radar, the cross chain aggregation, which essentially it's already integrated on the back end, but we're looking to fully have that integrated with our quick swap. That cross chain aggregator is a pretty big one, which will allow us to kind of expand well beyond our ecosystem and tap into other ecosystems as well too, and just bolster that trading experience again, with all of the different varieties and options of trading that you can do. Charting tool, which you guys have had a chance to play around with, and now what we're going to be doing is integrating more tools where, if you guys are those advanced traders who like to get into the tools and all the different things that are available to you to kind of make more, better, precise, and accurate trades, that's another big topic one for us as well. Blockchain Explorer. and I believe the last time I double checked, we're probably around the 80% mark of that development there, which is pretty good. The first iteration that we're going to be put up is not going to be the final, but we're going to be definitely looking to polish that downstream. But that blockchain explorer is obviously something that's huge. It's one thing to get onto a platform and do these test transactions, but it's another thing to tap into a block explorer and see those validations and confirmations that you require. So for us, that's definitely a big one that we want to get up there. And the NFT gateway off-chain testing as well too is another one as well too. So all in all, as always, there's a lot of moving pieces. You guys have been tremendously patient with us and understanding that these are a lot of moving pieces, and the complexity level is there, not just to develop them in silo, but to integrate them is where the complexity comes in. So we're truly happy with all the development work that the team has been doing. Even through all the bumps, our team has kept that pedal to the metal. Per se, and we're continuing to produce. So in the coming weeks, I hope to have more information with regards to our updates around beta as well as a block explorer, and I hope to keep you guys fully engaged. And we're looking forward to your feedback as well too, because a lot of feedback that you guys have provided us has helped us to re-steer some of our thought process, right? And that's what it means to be inclusive, right? This is not our project, this is your project as well. And all the feedback has been great to help us continue to build. So that's it right now for the beta forecasting. Stay tuned, and there will be a lot more to come. With that being said, I will pass it over to Viraf for the next slide. Thank you all.
Thank you, Chris. Definitely the effort there with the dev team as well does not go unrecognized. I just want to say thank you for that. And guys, I do have to apologize for any audio sort of mismatching or difficulties that you do here. I was notified that on my end, the audio is a tad bit broken, so I do have to apologize for that. We're just going to touch upon briefly the Waterloo Research Partnership and what that actually means for Steam Exchange. So for those of you that don't know, we actually spent, I would believe, more than 6 months now working on this partnership. It wasn't an easy one to secure. For those of you that don't know, Waterloo, the University of Waterloo in general, that was Vitalik Buterin's alumni. They put a heavy focus on new and innovative fields, blockchain technology, cybersecurity, and privacy, stuff like that. So we thought they would be an ideal candidate to help us further some of the learning and research modules and the educational aspect of Steam Exchange, right? So we're working with them to develop an AI-driven gamified learning experience. The whole intention of this is to offer up crypto-focused learning modules that are essentially applicable across various demographics of the investor learning curve, right? So you can start off with someone that's a novice with trading all the way up to someone that's super experienced, but at the same time, cross demographics in terms of age and origin as well. So we can see quite a few of the younger demographic, our younger audience that is now the Gen Z audience that is getting more into crypto. They are looking for different methods of learning and intake of knowledge, and one that we truly see that could build brand loyalty and that brand image in the long run is this gamified learning partnership, right? So just to briefly touch upon it, we have had the first set of questions and answers built up. They are currently being implemented into Module 1. This will be known as the Introduction to Digital Assets. We also have beta testing for Module 1 that will be released for an Android and desktop app. Guys, I do have to apologize. Am I still audible?
Sir, you are.
Okay, perfect. There we go. So beta testing for Module 1, we are working towards the app format of that as well. Something that's really interesting and that we're looking forward to along with the faculty and team at University of Waterloo. So the 3 faculty as well as 1 PhD student that are dedicated to this partnership. They will be overseeing and facilitating the research element. But something that's really interesting is the KEY conference, the KAI conference, that's coming up. This is essentially a conference for human factors in computing systems, and Steam Exchange, along with the University of Waterloo, is going to be submitting the first paper that they will have around cryptocurrency and blockchain for this 2022 summit. So we're excited for that. It will be reviewed by industry experts across the world anonymously. So we're interested to see what that feedback could look like as well. We have currently surveyed over 350 different investors from across the world. We're currently you see that small note at the bottom saying survey reminder. I think it's a good time to slide it in that for those of you that did show intent and signed up to receive that survey from the University of Waterloo, please keep a lookout in your email inbox for that, because the team is actively sending those around. As a community, we do want to represent our best foot forward. So please show your proper strength and engagement towards that. This partnership has also brought together a lot of networking opportunities for us across the government, across academia, and as well as the private sector. Most recently, roughly around 2 weeks or so ago, we were invited by the University of Waterloo's privacy and cybersecurity sort of department to attend their annual conference. It was a good conference. We made quite a few connects there, tying into the private sector as well, some of which we are in conversations with to see if there's synergy that can be explored. But this partnership is a multi-year partnership. That's important to emphasize. This is not something that's for 6 months, for 8 months. We will be seeing the research and the results of this engagement come through towards the early half of next year. But this is essentially a 1.5 year engagement. And we're thoroughly sort of impressed thus far with the team at Waterloo and look forward to working with them. In terms of just a marketing angle to this initiative, the university will be putting together an article on their website that will be released from the Stratford Interactive Design School. There is potential for a tweet as well. So when that messaging does come out, we are counting on our community to further amplify that messaging and send it across. We will also be putting out a press release to disseminate this news as well and just highlight what the partnership's all about. But this is something that, like I said, we've been working on for a while. It is going well, and we look forward to sort of engaging with it into the new year as well. I think that does bring us to the tail end of the content structure for this AMA. We are going to move into the question and answer section. The way we formatted this is we did release a question intake form, I believe a couple of days ago. We did receive quite a few questions on that form. We will be addressing a few of those today, but this will be the standard moving forward as well. Just to standardize the questions coming in, the intake form will be the method that you will be able to get your questions addressed by the team. So if there's anything that we don't go through today, please make sure you do prop that question up on the next intake form, and we will be sure to address it in our subsequent AMAs. But I think we should be good to move into the question and answer section, unless there's something I missed, Chris and Neville.
No, you're good, sir.
You're good. You're good. I just want to. I said no, but then I started talking. I apologize. Just about the article that Waterloo is going to be putting out. So we've been getting a lot of questions and a lot of requests actually come into both us and, unfortunately, I'm going to say Waterloo, just questioning the existence of this partnership. And in our last call, I think Anki dropped a pin in the chat saying that we had a very robust call. And that's where they kind of gave us that news saying that, hey, you know what, there's a lot of people asking about the legitimacy of our partnership. Why don't we put out an article? Just a fun story about that is that at that cybersecurity conference that we had at the University of Waterloo, we were supposed to meet with that professor. So if you've gotten the survey, his name is Ville. So we're supposed to meet Ville in person for the first time. And we were actually going to bring up that topic ourselves. But the fact that they brought it up on the behalf of the whole partnership was pretty remarkable. So it's bigger than I guess Viraf made it sound in his little announcement about it. But this is the first time that the public or the general public outside of the Steam Exchange community is going to learn about this number one partnership and then also Steam Exchange. So it's something to be pretty excited about. And I just wanted to kind of touch a little bit more on that before we moved into some of the questions that we got.
Perfect.
That's a great point, and probably even further. And it was definitely fun. It was a great networking experience for us, and we even you should have seen our ears grin to it because they had a whole panel up there of experts. We were talking about government officials, we're talking about tech companies, and it was quite refreshing to hear one of our government officials talk, and not in name, but talk about gamified learning, and we knew that was us. We knew that this is the first that they've seen, right? So it really speaks to the level of innovation that we're attempting to bring to the space, and just change the way that we do business and think, and learn, right? More importantly. So overall, it was a refreshing experience. And there's definitely a lot more partnerships to come and a lot more discussions downstream to come. So yeah, great point, Neville and Viraf.
For sure. And just something to look forward to as well, guys. We will, maybe not on the next one, but a few subsequent AMAs, maybe after the CHI conference, we will be bringing the university professor, potentially the entire team on for an AMA as well, just so that you guys can hear it firsthand what this research partnership actually means. But thank you all for your patience thus far, and I think we should be good to move into questions. So let's start it off here. I'm just going to go through the entire list that we have. There are quite a few, but let's firstly start off with this one. Okay, so someone's asked, I want to know if other tokens being created with SteamX blockchain and listed on Steam Exchange will be thoroughly scrutinized to avoid scam tokens being created on the blockchain.
I mean, yeah, I think it's something that we've definitely covered a few times in the past, and I would like to joke and say, I mean, I think the only thing that we're not asking them for is going to be a blood sample. I mean, just to put that lightly, right? I mean, yeah, 100%, right? Definitely going to be vetted from the top down. It's something that we take very seriously. Again, we don't just want to talk security. We want to live security, right? We're responsible for anything that happens on our chain. So 100%, these projects will be scrutinized from the top down. Not only will it be scrutinized, but they're going to be entering legal binding contracts as well too. And there are a lot of implications that come with any scams and stuff like that, right? That will be clearly written, laid out in black and white. So we're definitely taking that seriously.
Absolutely. And just to supplement that as well, guys, we will be looking for quality over quantity, right? Another thing that we've mentioned is we're not looking for the volume of projects to launch on our blockchain. We're looking for that curated bunch, that select few that actually pass the vetting criteria, and they're going to receive either the support they need through the incubation lab, or if their team is robust enough to scale it themselves, then they would just be permitted to launch on the blockchain, but definitely quality over quantity. Okay, moving forward. So the second question that we have is, are there any VCs, I believe they mean venture capitalists, or institutions going to join us once we move to the native coin? Any plans there?
Yeah, that's definitely a good question as well. So during development, and even up until this point and the near future, we've wanted to maintain everything in-house, right? So we wanted to fund it, we wanted to develop it. We do have some strategic development partners as well that's been helping us out with some of the development, which we can get into in a subsequent AMA. But yes, eventually, to scale to the level we need to scale, we are going to be looking at VCs and institutions to help us push to the next level. We're definitely going to be looking at starting with a friends and family round, and then shortly after that, go into the private sector VCs and institutions. So good question, and it actually came up at a funny time because it's definitely a topic we talk about often, and we definitely look forward to the synergy and the potential that comes with VCs and their networks and their reaches when the time comes.
All right, thank you, Neville. I'm just going to move forward into the next question. Okay, this one relates to the recent BNB chain vulnerability. So the question goes like this: there are cases of hacking with other blockchains. Example, BNB chain losing around 100 million during the first half of October. What are your plans on making SteamX a safe space for investors? How secure will the funds be?
Yeah, and that's always a great question, right? And this is something that we talk about, I think, probably on a daily basis with regards to, what can we do? We see these same articles too, and we hear about these instances. A lot of discussions around with our dev team. Now, while, on a recorded call, we can't get into specific details surrounding, what additional mechanisms, we need to put in place or will put in place. Just note that this is something that's heavily in discussion. And not only are we looking internally to our team, but we're also looking outside to industry experts as well, to getting that consulting that we would need if we don't have those gaps to fill, to make sure that we're taking all the appropriate actions to safeguard the blockchain and our ecosystem, right? We can't preach security enough, and it's not something that we take lightly. So that's it.
Perfect. Thank you, Chris. Okay, this question is a tad bit of an interesting one. So the question goes like this: what is the main focus for Steem? Is it the exchange or the blockchain?
That's definitely a good question as well. So our name is Steem Exchange. So our goal was, and always will be, to put together a ecosystem that is, number one, easy to use, right? It's not going to have 1,000 bells and whistles like you're used to from other platforms and ecosystems. But what we do want to do is, through our learning modules, generate adoption. So as our learning modules become popular, as more faculties and more educational institutions push it through things like the Chi conference, once people start learning more about it, adoption is going to occur, and people are going to start coming to or gravitating towards Steem Exchange, and they're going to need a platform to use. So the goal is to provide a platform that, number one, is easy to use. If you're not into technical analysis, you don't have to use advanced trading. You can use our DEX and trade and get out. Or if you are looking to get into technical analysis and advanced trading, you have that option as well. So the goal is to provide an ecosystem that is easy to use. But the scalability that comes with blockchain technology is a blockchain. So our primary focus, and what we're going to be focusing very strongly on once we go live, is our blockchain and expanding the reach and optimizations of our blockchain. So you could say that we are focused on both today, but eventually we're going to be very heavily focused on blockchain and expanding our ecosystem through innovative projects and of course, blockchain security and networks that we can reach through our blockchain.
Perfect. Thanks, Neville. I think that was really well answered. It goes definitely across disciplines, across industries. Something that we can't mention right now because it's too early, but we did have some good, as we mentioned, networking opportunities at the University of Waterloo. And most of them were more interested in our blockchain aspect of things, how the security element was tied into real world use cases and more on. But more from that on another note. We'll save that for later. I'm just going to progress into the next question. How will you pair SteamX with other cryptos? I'm assuming they mean on mainnet and once our platform is fully functional.
Yeah, another good question. So good job with these questions this time, guys. So eventually we're going to have to create markets in our ecosystem, right? So we're going to need to purchase things like Bitcoin, Ethereum, USDC, and whatever other cryptocurrency that we want to pair SteamX with. So it's funny this question came up because we're actually already in talks. Our development team came forward and asked, when are we planning on doing that? When are we planning on having assets to pair with? So definitely stay tuned for that particular question. The markets are looking like they're starting to stabilize. I don't want to jinx it or anything like that because that's a thing these days, but we're looking at definitely doing that soon. So we need to secure crypto in that we don't own today and pair it with the native coin when the time comes. So stay tuned. We'll definitely have more information about that in the next couple of AMAs.
Alrighty, thank you, Neville. The next question revolves around the node element. So the question goes like this: what are the plans for the node? Will there be software which can be installed and run on a desktop? I asked because currently another project has a film and music node, which allows people without crypto knowledge to deploy and support the network. So this is essentially around the upkeep of the network and how can one subscribe to a node.
Yeah, I could take that one. So for this, right? I mean, our main goal is to reduce the amount of overhead, right? I mean, we want to make it as easy as possible for you guys to come in and help bolster our network, right? The end goal is to have it fully scripted and automated. Again, just to bring that overall quality of life, right? You know, you click on a button or two and it's just scripted. It does the work for you and it gets you set up, right? So to answer that, you know, something along those lines is where we're heading towards right now. And I'm sure, you know, probably within a month or just a little bit more, you might have a little bit more insight to what that will look and feel like. But just know that, you know, our goal is to make it as easy as possible and not have you to go out there and download a whole bunch of stuff to get connected up into our network just to support us, right? Ease of use is always what we're going for. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, Chris. Definitely did. The next one revolves around mining and staking. If mining and staking will be allowed in the exchange for Steam holders and other cryptocurrencies. I'm not sure if they mean can they stake other cryptocurrencies on our platform when the time comes.
Yeah, so we get a lot of questions about staking in a lot of our AMAs, and the answer is kind of the same. So staking and any kind of leverage trading or anything that gives you a reward for your crypto, it requires a special license in Canada and especially in Ontario. So in order to get that, we need to, one, be in production. We have to be live. We need to be generating revenue. And then we need to show that we can support that payout for those rewards in order to facilitate it. So we'll definitely talk more about it when we are in, I guess, a position to facilitate it. But definitely as we stand today, we're not going to be offering any kind of leverage trading or staking to start with.
Perfect. Definitely one that we have touched upon in the past, but thank you for the answer there, Neville. This one is a forward-looking question, I think, for Chris. Will face recognition be used for people signing up to use the exchange and also for P2P transactions?
Yeah, so that's an interesting one. Obviously, we have spoken internally, you know, biometrics, not necessarily around the entire face per se, but you know, nothing is ever off the table with regards to providing that flexibility and additional security measures around getting access to apps, right? It's nothing that we've overlooked, but it's not something that's on the foreground per se. So I hope that answers your question. I know it's a little bit gray, but the net is it's in discussion, but not firm. I like to say that. I think we'd probably go towards fingerprints before facial recognition, in my eyes. But yeah, nothing's off the table.
Agreed. I think the pros and cons to it all, right? But essentially, guys, we will be giving y'all the security options, and then it's up to each individual user how secure they want to make their account, right? We will be mandating 2FA for sure, but beyond that, that does depend on the individual trader and their risk appetite. Moving forward, the next question is SteamX still going to be audited by Deloitte or a similar organization after the mainnet release?
Sorry. Yeah, most definitely, right? So that's definitely something we're going to be looking at. So just touching back on audits, when we presented our release plan, we talked about audits and for smart contracts and also the platform itself. So 100%, once we're ready and we get through all the bugs that we have to get through, our smart contracts, specifically the native coin, our blockchain Rails network, and also the Launchpad Innovation Lab will be audited by some smart contract auditing provider. And the platform itself for QA purposes, even though it's going through rigorous QA all the time, will definitely be audited for QA as well. So definitely stay tuned for that. Once I guess we announce that we're entering audit phase, you'll know how close we are to going live. So just stay tuned.
Perfect. Thank you, Neville. I believe that does bring us to the tail end of the question and answer session. Again, guys, just to reiterate, this is the standard format we will be following moving forward. A form will be put out prior to our next AMA. So any of you that have any burning questions or anything that comes to mind, please do prop them up on that form, and we will get them answered in a subsequent AMA. But for now, just as a closing statement, guys, we do want to thank everyone for tuning in once again. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for joining us on the journey thus far. We continue to remain heads down and focused on the task at hand. Thank you all for joining.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Take care.